Hello dear students, how are you all? Hope you all are fit and fine. Hope you all are fine. Hope you all are fit and healthy at home. I am Sandhya Patel, your science teacher from St. Mary High School. So we already know that we have already started the chapter number 2 of your class 7 science, that is nutrition in animals. So in our previous class what we have studied the animal nutrition. What is animal nutrition? You also seen that how different ways of taking food in different animals takes place. Then we have seen how digestion in the human takes place, and we have started the human digestive system. In that we have seen the first part, that is the mouth and buccal cavity. In mouth we know that there is tongue and teeth. They are useful in different ways. Teeth help in cutting and chewing of the food, while tongue helps in the mixing of saliva and taking or swallowing the food. In the second part of human digestive system, that is the food pipe or esophagus. The swallowed food passes into the food pipe or esophagus. Now we know that we take the food inside from the mouth, then teeth help in chewing and grinding of the food, tongue helps in mixing the saliva into the food and help in the swallowing of the food. After the food is swallowed with the help of tongue, it goes to the food pipe or the esophagus. See carefully the figure. You can see that this is the food, this is the esophagus, right? So after the food is properly chewed and grind with the help of teeth, they have been swallowed down into the esophagus, into this esophagus. The food pipe starts from the neck region and runs until the chest area in the animals. Now try to touch your neck. You can feel something pipe-like thing, right? So that is the food pipe. Basically, it starts from the neck region and where it runs until the chest area in the animal. The food, when chewed, pushed down by the movement of the valve of the food pipe and reach the stomach through this path. After the food had been chewed, that had been swallowed into the food pipe, they are pushed by the movement of wall of the food pipe, and then from the food pipe it reaches to the stomach through this path. The food moves in downward direction in the food pipe. We know that the food is moving in the downward direction, right? So it moves in the downward direction in this food pipe. Now let's see from the food pipe, where does the food goes? Let's see which is the third part of the human digestive system. It is the stomach. You can again see the picture carefully. What is this? This is the stomach. So from the esophagus, the food passes into the stomach. Let's see what is stomach. It is a thick-walled bag-like structure which is present on the left side of the abdomen. So it is something thick-walled bag-like structure. You can see that it is something thick-walled bag-like structure, right? And when it is present on the left side of the abdomen. Its shape is like flattened J, and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. You can see that it is something like flattened J. This is so, and it is the widest part of the alimentary canal. It obtains food from the food pipe and opens into the small intestine toward the other opening. Now, food that is passed from the mouth to the esophagus is being drawn or being pushed in the stomach. Stomach has the opening from the one side from the esophagus, and other opening opens into the small intestine. The inner lining of stomach produces mucus, hydrochloric acid, and other digestive juices. Now, what stomach produces? It produces mucus, hydrochloric acid, and other digestive juice. Now, this mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juice helps in the digestion of the food that is being passed from the esophagus to the stomach. The function of mucus is to protect the lining of stomach from the action of hydrochloric acid. Now we know that when the food passes into the stomach, what happens? The hydrochloric acid been released in the stomach, and this hydrochloric acid has in the digestion, right? We all know that, right? So the mucus present in the stomach, what it will do? It helps the stomach to protect the lining of the stomach that to protect this lining of the stomach from the hydrochloric acid that has been released during the process of digestion. The secretion of hydrochloric acid makes the medium acidic inside the stomach. We all know that hydrochloric acid is a acid. It is acidic in nature. So what does it do? It makes the medium slightly acidic inside the stomach. It kills the harmful bacteria present in the food and also helps in the digestion of proteins in the stomach. Now what does the hydrochloric acid do? It kills the harmful bacteria that have been present in the food, different food material. And what does it help? And what does it do? It helps in the proper digestion of food and proper digestion of protein in the stomach itself. Food is turned into semi-solid mass in the stomach. Now in this stomach, what happens? Whatever food item is there, whatever the food is there, it is been turned into semi-solid mass. Why semi-solid? Because from esophagus the solid food particle goes into the stomach. In that the HCl is released and it helps in digestion. That's why food material becomes semi-solid in nature. The digestive juices break down the proteins into simpler substances. Now what does this digestive juice do? It breaks down the protein into the simpler substances. Now let's see the fourth part, that is the small intestine. Small intestine. Carefully observe the figure. Where is the small intestine? Here, right? You can see this is something white like structure. It is the small intestine. This is highly coiled organ of 7.5 meters length. You can easily observe in this diagram, right? That small intestine is something coiled organ, right? It is very much highly coiled, and its length is 7.5 meters. It receives secretion from the liver and pancreas. So what liver and pancreas do? It secretes and it's been transferred into the small intestine. The wall of small intestine also secretes digestive juice. The digestive juices has been released in the small intestine, and the digestive juice again helps in the digestion of the food. The largest gland of the body, that is liver, is the reddish brown colored gland situated in the upper part of the abdomen on the right side. So what is the location of liver? And you know that liver is the largest gland of the body. It is something reddish brown in color, and it is something reddish brown colored gland. And where it is situated? It is situated in the upper part of abdomen on the right side. It secretes bile juices, which is stored in a sac-like structure called as gallbladder. The bile helps in the digestion of fats. Now what does this liver do? It secretes the bile juice. It secretes the bile juice which is stored in the gallbladder. Carefully observe the picture. You can see this is the gallbladder. So liver secretes bile juice, and it is being stored in the gallbladder, which helps in the digestion of fats. The pancreas is a large cream-colored gland which is located just below the stomach and secretes pancreatic juices. So pancreas are large cream-colored gland which is located just below the stomach and secretes pancreatic juices. And these pancreatic juices are helpful in the digestion of the food. The pancreatic juices act on carbohydrates, fats and proteins and change them into simpler form. Pancreatic juice that has been released or secreted from pancreas, what they do? They actually helps to convert the complex substances like carbohydrates, fats and proteins and change them into the simple form. The partly digested food now reaches the lower part of the small intestine. So from the stomach, the food passes into the small intestine, and from the upper part of small intestine reaches to the lower part of the small intestine. The intestinal juices secreted by the walls of small intestine help in the digestion of all components of the food. Now the juices that is been secreted by the intestine helps in the digestion of the all component of the food that is present in the food. The carbohydrates get broken into simple sugars such as glucose, fats into fatty acid and glycerol, and proteins into amino acid. Now the food is said to be digested. Now what happened? The carbohydrate been broken into simple sugar like glucose. Fats are been broken into fatty acid and glycerol, and proteins are broken into amino acid. Now you can say that the food is fully digested. This digested food is now absorbed by the walls of small intestine. Now whatever the digested food is there, it is being absorbed by the wall of the small intestine. Now let's see how this absorption in the small intestine takes place. The blood vessels in the walls of the intestine absorb the digested and water soluble substances to produce energy for growth and development of animals. This process is called absorption. So what is absorption? Whatever the blood vessel present in the wall of small intestine, what they do? They absorb the digested food and water soluble substances that is present in the food, and what they do, what they help to do, they produces energy for growth and development of the animal. This process is known as absorption. The inner walls of small intestine have thousands of finger-like outgrowth called villi. So villi is present in the small intestine. There are something like finger-like structure that is present in the inner wall of small intestine. This villi helps in increasing the surface area of small intestine for the absorption of digested food. So what does villi do? Villi helps in the increasing the surface area of the small intestine. And if the surface area of the small intestine increases, what will be the benefit? It will increase the absorption of digested food. Villi process are network of thin and small blood vessels closest to its surfaces. In the villi, different thin network is present, thin network and small blood vessel is present in the close to the surface. So what villi possess? It possesses a network of thin and small blood vessels which is close to its surface. These blood vessels absorb the digested food material and transport it to the different organs of the body, where these are used to build complex substances such as proteins required by the body. This is called assimilation. Now what does this blood vessel do? They absorb the digested food material and transport it to different organs of the body part, right? And this digested food helps in the building the complex substances like protein, which is very much important, which is very much required for the body, and this is known as assimilation. In the cell, glucose breaks down with the help of oxygen into carbon dioxide and water, and energy is released. Now in the cell what happens? Whatever the glucose is there, it breaks down with the help of oxygen and into the carbon dioxide and water, and energy is released in the food that remains undigested and unabsorbed enters into the large intestine. Now whatever the digested food is that it's been absorbed in the different organs. It's been absorbed in the blood vessel and it is been transported to the different body parts for the building of complex substances which is required for the growth of the body. Now whatever undigested and unabsorbed food particles are present, they are now enters into the large intestine. And let's see the last part of the human digestive system, that is large intestine. Now again see the figure. You can see that this is the large intestine. Now let's read. It is a 1.5 meter long tube. It is wider and shorter than the small intestine. So you can easily see in the figure, right? It is little bit wider than the small intestine. So it is 1.5 meter long and it is wider and little bit shorter than the small intestine. The undigested semi-solid food is passed from the small intestine to large intestine. Now whatever the undigested semi-solid food is present in the small intestine, they have been pushed into the large intestine. The large intestine absorbs water and salt from the undigested food. Now whatever water and salt present in the undigested food that has been absorbed that will be absorbed by the large intestine. The remaining waste material then passes to the rectum and remains there for some time in the form of semi-solid feces. Whatever the remaining waste material is present, they are being passed into the rectum and they remain there for some time in the form of semi-solid feces. This waste fecal material is then removed through the anus from the body by the process called egestion. You can see in the figure that this is the anus. Now whatever the waste fecal material that have been stored in the rectum now been removed through the anus, and this process is known as egestion. We know that taking the food into the mouth is known as ingestion, and removing the waste fecal material through the anus is known as egestion. So with this we have completed the human digestive system. We have completed the different parts of the human digestive system. Just quickly revise which are the different parts of human digestive system. Which were they? They are the buccal cavity in which the teeth and tongue is present, and the food pipe or esophagus, the stomach, the small intestine, large intestine, and the large intestine is ending into the rectum and the anus. And the anus, from the anus, the fecal material, the waste fecal material been removed, and the process is known as egestion. So with this we have completed the different human digestive system or part of the human. Now homework time. So what you have to do? You have to draw a label diagram of human digestive system, which is being shown in this video. So this will be our homework. Now, so thank you so much.